everybody is doing well. The Democratic National Convention just ended, and I'm going to give you guys just a couple reactions to the fourth night here. I hope everybody is doing well. Hello. Hi, guys. We're live on YouTube and Facebook tonight, so thank you guys for joining. All right. So before we get into our fast news, we're going to get into the reaction here to the Democratic National Convention. I thought it started off pretty good with some jokes. I always like humor. So I thought the host did a great job. What was her name? Julia Lewis. She's from Veep. She was hilarious. I thought she did good. Andrew Yang, who I don't agree with everything he said, but I like some things he said, and on the campaign trail, and I thought he was very funny as well. So, again, not a lot of policy talked, but some policy was talked by Joe Biden today when he spoke. But not as much as I would like to have heard. I'd like to hear more Democrats talking policy at the convention. As a lot of you guys know, especially my Facebook people, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, so... but I like policy. I like hearing what they actually want to do. I think it's important to know what policies they want to put in place, right? And, Joe Biden, I think he's really pitching himself as this uniter, kind of moderate kind of candidate. So, take that how you will. But I like the overall positive message. I like positivity. And I think it'll be interesting to see the Republican National Convention as well. Again, I'd like to hear policy out of them as well going forward. I think we all kind of know where Trump stands at this point. Just like I think a lot of us kind of know where Joe Biden stands at this point. But it would be nice to hear some more policy spoke. But enough about that, guys. I want to get into our fast news, and our lead story tonight follows our lead story last night. Peter Nygard, a former fashion executive who was worth $817 million, and who is being sued by 10 women that allege Nygard recruited, lured, and enticed young, impressionable, and often impoverished children and women with cash payments and false promises of lucrative modeling opportunities when his real intent was to rape and sexually assault them. He has a pattern of sexual assault and harassment complaints against him stretching back 40 years. On top of that, 3 days ago, it was announced he is being sued by two of his sons that allege he arranged their rapes with one of Nygard's girlfriends. They say the rape happened when they were 14 and 15. Nygard stepped down from his company as chairman after FBI and NYPD raided his New York headquarters in February. Nygard is also accused of having a database of potentially 7,500 women and girls that he could exploit. A spokeswoman for Nygard said in February that the claims in the suit were completely false and without foundation and are vigorously denied. Nygard is under criminal investigation for sex trafficking by the FBI, and he has maintained his innocence on everything I have just stated up to this point. So, and as we all know, guys, Steve Bannon was arrested today. He was arrested on charges of fraud in which he had pled not guilty. But the most interesting thing here, I think, isn't really the charges of fraud, right? I think it's where he was arrested. So he was arrested on a 150-foot yacht, luxury yacht, owned by Chinese billionaire, is it Gao Wangyi? Who is a wealthy businessman. But here's what we know about him. He's a former billionaire who has been very outspoken against the oppressive Chinese Communist Party. He was also placed on an Interpol red list in 2017, although I couldn't find if he's still on that Interpol red list. He's been named in a ton of lawsuits from Chinese companies as a result of him being put on the red list, and properties of his have been seized because of it. You know, I don't know a whole lot else about him, but that's what I was able to find. Okay, so here's a cool thing. So, India security officials used several new security measures during India's 74th Independence Day celebrations on August 15th, including a new anti-drone system. Live Mint reported the new anti-drone system was among the Indian security measures around India's historic Red Fort. The anti-drone was developed by India's Defense Research Development Organization. All right, and one more thing that has really taken over social media, and I want to talk about this, Cuties. So Netflix has issued an apology for their poster of Cuties. I seen it. It's... Yeah. All right, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to give you guys a real straightforward opinion about this. How does that get approved? How does a business executive look at that and approve it? Honestly, how? Who came up with that? The photographer that took the photo. There's so many things that had to... How? How? I'm just saying, I don't understand how it was approved. I just don't get it. Sorry, I just... It's especially now with all the child trafficking stuff going on, and you're gonna... I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, but... Apparently, it's a largely well-received French language pick that won the World Cinema. I don't know, guys. I don't know. All right, I want to talk one more story that I talked about on Facebook. I shared it, but yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. That Cuties ad is awful. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. I don't know how. Like, all these business executives have to look at it and approve it, right? They have to. So how does that at all get approved? You have a photographer has to take the photo. How does the photographer feel comfortable taking that photo? Okay, there's that. You have the person that has to edit the photo. Again. You have the supervisor that has to approve all this work after it's done. Then you have a marketing team go through and turn this into a poster, I assume. I'm just guessing. But, like, there's all these steps. It's awful. If you haven't seen it yet, it's not worth looking at. Netflix apologized for it. Apparently, it's supposed to be... It's very well-respected French film, apparently, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I'm not a huge... Like, a lot of these Netflix shows people watch, I haven't watched. I'm not a huge Netflixer. But one more thing I talked about on Facebook, I haven't talked about on here, is Chris Swanson, Genesee County, Missouri Sheriff Chris Swanson. He is the same guy who had his deputies march alongside the Black Lives Matter protesters and saw no violence in that viral video. He saw no violence yeah. And I think in large part it was because of his show, in his show of support with the protesters, to show unity, right? I think that goes a long way to know the police department was actually with you. I know in Buffalo, that was one of the things I was saying the night I got arrested. Was, look, all we want to do is see them walk with us. If they did that, we know they're with us, and, all our problems would be answered here. So, but, as you guys know, that was not the case. But anyways. But yeah, So he recovered 7 missing children. One of those was a 16-year-old victim who appeared to be a victim of human trafficking. Guys, wow. He has been one of the few bright spots here in 2020 so far. 2020 hasn't had a lot of bright spots, but if People Magazine's looking for a person of the year for 2020, Chris Swanson should be that person of the year. He has been absolutely amazing. I mean, honestly, this guy, he has been one of the few bright spots, I think. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about that I did not have written down here. Let's see if I can find it real quick for you guys without you guys having to go anywhere. Oh, yeah. Right here. So, there was a cop. I'm just going to read the article for you guys, as a matter of fact, because, all right, I'm just going to read this article for you guys word for word. It's on reason.com. All right. The article is by Billy Binion. 8/19/2020 is the publishing day. A police officer who allegedly kneed a suspect 20 to 30 times in the eye after a man had been restrained is entitled to qualified immunity and thus cannot be sued over the incident, a federal court confirmed on Monday. Charles McMemmy, who law enforcement suspected was making a drug delivery, claims that Deputy Bryce Tinnery of Iowa's Butler Sheriff County office, who violated his Fourth Amendment right by using excessive force. McMenny had surrendered with at least 4 cops already on top of him following the incident. McMenny says he suffered lasting damage in the eye with increasing light sensitivity and floaters. I'm not sure what those are, so if someone knows what those are, please comment. But while majority of U.S. Court appeals for the 8th Circuit held that Tinnery indeed did violate McMenny's rights, his suit fails for a different reason: the absence of clearly established right. We'll stop there. That's all we really. If you guys want to read the rest of the article, it's on my Facebook. But guys, wow. Qualified immunity just needs to be repealed. It's being used in all the wrong cases. I know it's only supposed to protect officers doing their job, but it's being used to protect other officers who are clearly acting out of their job. Officers are not supposed to do that to guilty people either. Remember, even if you're guilty of a crime, you get the right to due process due to this thing called that's right on my wall here called the Constitution. You get the right to due process. All right. Floaters are like spots float. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that would not be fun. But yeah, you get due process. So come on, guys. No, police are not. They don't have the right to do that to you. I'm sorry, they just don't. Now, if you go right and you point a gun at a cop, obviously they're going to shoot you. But if you're on the ground with 4 guys on top of you, there's no reason you should come out with a busted eye socket, even if you have drugs, whatever the reasoning may be. It's just a little ridiculous to me, guys. But, we'll have more graphics and stuff coming up next week. I'm trying to get used to this streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I like this new platform. Thank you guys very much for coming. I love you guys. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe if it's your first time here. And thank you for sticking to the end of the video. I should also say that earlier in the video on YouTube for YouTube purposes. But thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys. And you know what? I love you guys. You guys have a great night. And I will see you again tomorrow.